denying the voice of members who have served in the military. Jim Banks, a Navy veteran who served in Afghanistan. I want to bring up Congressman Jim Banks, individual who served his country in Afghanistan, served in a state legislature, serves in Congress, is chair of the largest caucus in the Republican Conference. Jim Banks.
Thank you. I thank the leader first and foremost for his trust that he placed in me as a leader of our party to put me to shame. The American people deserve better. They demand answers about January 6th because the American people demand that their leaders step up to make sure that it never happens again. But we all know that this is an exercise in politics. It's not an exercise in finding the facts, and that's what's unfortunate about the Speaker's move. It just goes to show, it begs the question that all of us should be asking, what is the Speaker afraid of? I'll leave you with that. Jim Jordan.
Thank you, Jim. The leader and Jim are exactly right. This has always been about politics, and today's actions of the Speaker just confirm that. But frankly, and I've said this before, what else are they going to talk about? They went out and raised money to bail him out of jail, and they continue to talk about defunding the police, and in fact did that in all these major urban areas, which is why crime is up. So they don't want to talk about that stuff. They just want to be partisan. They just want to continue to attack the former president. They want to play their political game. So I applaud Leader McCarthy for saying we're going to do our job. We're going to continue to work and get to the bottom and answer the questions that the leader raised, the questions that, frankly, the American people want answers to. With that, I recognize you.
On the evening of January 6th, when we reconvened to take the certification of the election results from our states, I actually spoke with Speaker Pelosi on the dais, and she brought up a bipartisan bicameral commission to me at that point in time. I introduced a bill to create a bipartisan bicameral commission. We had some questions about how this would be implemented, and Speaker Pelosi decided instead to put forth her own select committee that we now know is a completely partisan process. But unfortunately, we're not going to. I'd like to introduce Kelly Armstrong.
Thanks, Rodney. I agree with everything that's been said. I've served for 2 years with Jim Jordan on oversight and judiciary. We've been through a lot of tough hearings together, a lot of hearings that were going to be similar to this. And committee is about the last election. I don't even think it's about the next election. It's about the Speaker's office maintaining an absolute iron grip on her conference in the People's House for the next 18 months. And I'm concerned that after 200 years of precedent, we are completely altering how things are done in the People's House. But you know what else? I'd be concerned if I was a majority member right now, because the math, and their policies are going to help us take back the majority in 2 years, and these things never go back to the way they were once they started. So we need to be calling out what's going on. Every member of the U.S. House of Representatives is elected by their district, and they have a right to serve. And the minority has a right to put the people on the committees they want. And we shouldn't be changing those for this committee or any other committee. And with that, I turn it over to Sheriff Nels.
Thank you.
When I was chosen by Leader McCarthy to serve on this select committee, I assured him, I told him, I said, I will take the 30 years of law enforcement experience I have, the 8 years as sheriff, to find out exactly what took place of ours. I made that commitment. I will remain strong in that commitment to the leader. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Leader, you're complaining that you don't have a bipartisan opportunity here to investigate January 6th, but you stood in the way of a bipartisan commission that would be made up of independent members,
No, I did.
number of Republicans and Democrats.
Mr. Blackstock, stay with me as well. I do want to cross over to Capitol Hill for some breaking news. Representative Liz Cheney now speaking on the steps of the Capitol. Let's take a listen.
Investigation. Today, the Speaker objected to 2 Republican members. She accepted 3 others. She objected to 2, one of whom may well be a material witness to events that led to that day, that led to January 6th. The other, who disqualified himself by his comments in particular over the last 24 hours, demonstrating that he is not taking this seriously. He is not dealing with the facts of this investigation, but rather viewed it as a political platform. This investigation must go forward. The idea that anybody would be playing politics with an attack on the United States Capitol is despicable and is disgraceful. And I am absolutely dedicated and committed to making sure that this investigation holds those accountable who did this and ensures that it never happens again. And the American people deserve that, and that is what we're going to do.
Congresswoman, do you think you can still get that nonpartisan investigation you want, given that no other Republican but yourself will participate?
I am absolutely confident that we will have a nonpartisan investigation, that it will look at the facts, that it will go wherever the facts may lead. There are 3 members that the minority leader proposed that the Speaker did not object to. She has objected to 2 members, and the rhetoric around this from the minority leader and from those 2 members has been disgraceful. This must be an investigation that is focused on facts. And the idea that any of this has become politicized is really unworthy of the office that we all hold and unworthy of our republic.
Did you personally urge the Speaker to take this step?
I agree with what the Speaker has done.
And also, McCarthy, of course, wants to become Speaker next year. Do you think that he deserves to be Speaker in the aftermath of his actions here?
I think that any person who would be third in line to the presidency must demonstrate a commitment to the Constitution and a commitment to the rule of law. And Minority Leader McCarthy has not done that.
Last question.
Are there other Republicans that you or Speaker Pelosi believe should be part of this investigation? The other 3 you mentioned that she did not veto are not going to participate. Are there others? Are there other colleagues you've spoken to?
There are many Republicans, the vast majority of the Republicans, both in the House as well as across the country, recognize and understand that this was an assault on our democracy, an assault on our Constitution, and that there must be a fact-based investigation so that this never happens again. And we cannot allow those voices who are attempting to prevent the American people from getting the truth to prevail, and we certainly will not.
Olivia, last question, Olivia.
Doesn't this play right into Republican messaging that this committee was going to be partisan from the beginning?
Absolutely not. This committee has been focused, and I am certainly focused on ensuring that we get to the facts. And in fact, there were 35 Republicans who supported an independent bipartisan commission, which, as I've said, would have been the far preferable way to go. Minority Leader McCarthy opposed that actively and aggressively, and he lobbied against it in the Senate, and the Senate blocked it. We must have this select committee investigation. This is our only option left, and people must be willing to put their oath to the Constitution above partisan politics and above party. And I am absolutely committed to doing that, and I'm committed to ensuring that this investigation be one that gets to the truth of what happened here on January 6th.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
All right, you are listening to Representative